want to start the whole thing over with the intro and everything, or do you just want to
No, we'll keep going. I got it. I got
Okay.
it live now. We're live.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to tell you earlier. I hold the thought that you had. You were talking last, but just like you, I always knew there's a God. I've always prayed my entire life, but like I said, it started kind of hitting me around 2019. But my life, I have an older brother who's adopted. He's kind of a narcissist. He hates my guts for the most part. But my mother and father, who are 82 right now, they've been married over 63 years now. They're still together, and they
Awesome.
didn't think they could have kids, and they tried for many years, and they couldn't have kids, so they adopted my older brother. And they kept trying, and they finally had me. And I've always been, it's like a special blessing to my folks, I guess, for the most part. But me and my brother used to be close, but he's just turned into a complete narcissist, God complex. I mean, you can see, I can see the demon. You just like me. I'm not going to get off on that rant, but I just want to let you know that little bit of information. We're not going to spend much time on it, but you just like me, being filled with the Spirit, you walk into rooms before, and the demonic spirits actually get up and leave. You've had that happen before, right?
Oh, I certainly have.
Yeah. So you know what I mean. So it's happened more than once, but I think my brother and his wife's mother into some kind of witchcraft and warlock type stuff. And I really have, I avoid having to be with them. There's special occasions like my folks' birthdays and stuff like that, but I don't like it. You know what I mean? My spirit, is just like, it's like cringe. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
But that was the deal. My mom and dad didn't think they could have kids, but they ended up having me. So whatever.
Yeah, you mentioned that about how people that have devils seem to have to get up and leave. There was one time that I can specifically remember that I was led to this house to pray for somebody that I didn't even know. I didn't even know where I was going. The Spirit led me to this house just out of the blue. I knock on the door, and I thought for sure that, the guy welcomed me in and his girlfriend was there. And I thought God wanted me to share the gospel. I said, I don't know why, but the Lord led me to come here. And so they opened the door. They're like, well, come on in. I was like, okay. And I started sharing the gospel. And this guy began to tell me how and I thought I was there to share the gospel with him. He began to tell me how he um, doesn't believe that he can be forgiven for some of his sins that he's committed. And he went and told me that he actually killed a man.
Oh, okay.
And, I went ahead and I shared with him that God will forgive all manner of sin except for, and as I'm sharing the gospel, this woman who's his girlfriend she's over there cheering me on. Amen. Amen. He's speaking the truth. He's telling you the truth, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, the Lord showed me something that she had been abused sexually from her stepfather. And it just dropped on me. I knew that. And and the Lord asked me or the Lord put it on my heart to ask her, have you ever forgiven him? And as soon as I said that to her, she immediately broke down because it was God speaking to her and not me. And she knew what it was about. And that wasn't even part of the conversation in any way, shape, or form. It was kind of one of those awesome moments. And apparently he had repented to her, but she refused to forgive him.
Okay.
And, she broke down in tears because she knew that this was God speaking to her. But at that very moment, the Holy Spirit came over me to lay my hands on her and pray for her. And as I did, this man couldn't get out of the room fast enough. He just scattered, like bam, he was gone. And that just reminded me of another time where I was given an estimate in 2020 for a crazy house up in Chicago. And that was actually run by the city. And there was about 3 or 4 different people that tried to attack me because they couldn't leave because they're in a crazy house. And I was being brought around to give an estimate for window cleaning is what I do.
Right.
And that was one of the things I told the guy the maintenance guy that was up to give me. They offered me whatever I wanted for cleaning windows. Price wise, nobody else wanted to clean the windows, so they said, you can name your price, whatever you want, we'll pay it. And I said, I only have one requirement. No matter what the price is, I have one requirement, that me and my son are both going to be armed when we're in here for our own safety.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because I've been attacked 3 times already. And I'm not going to turn my back on somebody in his room to clean his windows and not be protected.
Sure.
So basically I would have my son clean the windows and I would be facing my back to him and my front to the room.
Yeah, that's smart.
And that's what I figured I would do. And they said, nope, absolutely not. Hey, Steven, what's going on?
Well, we got somebody in the chat.
And they said, no, we can't do that. This is Chicago. This is the city. We can't. And I said, well, you know what? I said, the Second Amendment right of the people to keep and bear arms. And if you're not going to let me do that to be able to keep protection and safety over my own son, I don't care how much the window cleaning is. I'm not going to take the job.
Hey, Steven, how you doing, buddy?
Yep, Rex is on the line.
Yeah, so go ahead. So yeah, you got to watch it. Yeah, I mean,
Rex of the tea kind.
Yeah, can you hear me okay, Scotty?
I can. You're coming in clear.
Okay, great. So yeah, just like you said, you can walk into a room, they flee from you, and then there's the people that wonder where you're at when you're not around. They want to gather towards you. It's just it works both ways. You know what I mean? I'm not a person that has a big ego. I look at myself as just an average person. I'm not a narcissist. So I don't expect people to want me to be somewhere. You know what I mean? I don't expect that. But when God tells me to if it's okay to go to an event or if it's not, like I just stay away from this place or do this event, this, that, and the other. And I've skipped on a lot of things. But some of them that I have skipped on, people have wondered where I was at, So there are people that when you're not around, they do gather. The mood and the energy is different.
Oh yeah,
it works both ways. So the demons flee, and then there's the spirits, the souls that congregate towards you as well. Your spirit, your energy that you give off when you're around.
Yeah. So we'll pick back up from where I left off in the last stream. It looks like we're going through the same thing. It's just YouTube is keeping us from going mainstream. Last night, I had over 4,000 viewers came in.
Damn. Yeah, because of Charlie Kirk, man.
Yeah. And today I even did 9/11. Come on.
Yeah, right. Right.
Well, yeah, I can't imagine why I'm put in this little corner of the internet.
Hey, tell me they didn't fly the flags at half staff today. Just tell me they didn't do it.
Oh, I'll bet you. I bet any money that the agencies, yes, the president ordered that to happen, and the agencies that are mostly right leaning probably flew the flag half staff, and the ones that were left leaning flew it all the way up. Now that's another. Yeah. It's true because that's the vision. And that's an interesting thing. You mentioned the half staff and being brought up as a military child. You came in, you were brought up with patriotism. I mean, literally.
Sure.
And that's actually one of the things that I used to be very patriotic. And I saw the deception behind it, how it grabs a hold of the heart. And that's actually one of the things Jesus warned about. He said, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and beware of the leaven of the Sadducees. And he also said, beware of the leaven of Herod. Now, why do you think Jesus would have us have that in his eternal word for all time to beware of the leaven of Herod, knowing Herod was a man that was going to live to be 80 years old and die? Why would that be recorded in his eternal word? because of who Herod was. Herod was not in the faith of Abraham. Herod was actually outside of the nation of Israel that usurped the authority. And if I remember correctly, he was an Edomite. He was from Edom. And so,
Herod.
sorry?
He.
Herod, correct.
Yep.
And he actually usurped authority over the people of Israel using nationalism and patriotism of the nation of Israel as his stand, where they really poured that into mingled that with the faith. So it's kind of like the pride of the nation and nationalism in with the faith of Abraham. And at the time, Israel wasn't a nation anymore like it was prior to, because God scattered them about 300 years before, but they were still the people in the land. And so patriotism is one of the ways in which they get people to I guess my point is with the flag. So they have us pledge allegiance to this flag. It's a silk rectangle with 50 pentagrams on it.
Right. Total idolatry.
Yeah, and it's got 13 stripes. And we put our hand over our blood pump to symbolize our heart, because that's not the heart of man. That's the blood pump of man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when the Bible speaks of the heart of man, it's speaking of, and I wonder if the chat froze up, because usually Stephen speaks more.
I'm looking at my monitor on my home computer, and I don't even see Stephen on here on the home monitor.
Really?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I do. I see him at the bottom here.
Okay.
That's weird. Man, maybe you should hashtag Charlie Kirk on the title or something, man.
Yeah, right, right. That was kind of an anomaly that I went into the mainstream last night. My live streams have only gotten that kind of publicity maybe twice in the history. I've only been live streaming since maybe June, I think, when I started. Yeah, I think I started doing it around the time I was picking the black raspberries, which Stephen won, and he never gave me anybody to send it to except for Rosa, and she did.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I figured a lot more people would flood in here. I'm just like you, I go in and people can't handle and they don't like the truth. You tell the truth just like I do, and I'm known throughout YouTube land to get in people's comments and chats and tell them the truth. And I figured people would see it and start flooding in here, but I guess I'm too high on my horse. But yeah, you're just like me. The truth hurts a lot of people, man, and they don't want to hear it. We're in that time of that God set upon us. The truth is like the worst thing these days,
So that other chat, that my other account that just did
okay, we got somebody else that came in here too. So everything's cool, it looks like. But
okay, so that's me. My other account is me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that. So because when I'm running the live stream, I don't have the ability to click on somebody's name and see their channel.
Yeah, okay.
So I have another account that I gave the wrench to, so that I can see who's chat. I can go on my other phone while I'm on live stream and go through and then click on their name.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. Well, at least we know it's working. People are just, I don't know, whatever.
It's working, but it looks like it's only going to people that are already subscribed to me. They're, with only, it says there's 4 people in here. Stephen's back. Next thing Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is like leaven a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal till it was all leavened. Yeah, Jesus warned about the leaven because of the Pharisees, the leaven of the Sadducees, because that's stuff that's added to the bread, the dough in the making of bread, to create a fermentation and a bunch of air. Really, that's what it is. CO2. Fermentation produces air, CO2 pockets in bread. It makes it rise. It makes it look bigger. It makes it look different, and it gives it a much more sweet flavor than flatbread or unleavened bread. But yeah, and Jesus explained what that meant. It's adding to the things of the faith that shouldn't be there. You know, the teachings of the Pharisees, the teachings of the Sadducees, the teaching, and that's one of the things I thought about was, they mingled in the patriotism in with the faith, and most corporations that have the word church in their name have a United States flag inside of their corporations.
Yeah.
And really, when you think about it, what is the faith of Jesus Christ and the kingdom of heaven have to do with the United States of America?
Yeah.
Nothing.
All flags are idolatry, pretty much, if you really think about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And
mean,
that's it is what it is. But that's my point was that they get people's emotions attached to a flag, so it's a symbol, and then the symbol they literally lead people's hearts with the raising and the lowering of the flag. So
yeah, yeah,
the flag is flying high, pride. It's
yeah,
yeah. And then when that flag is flying half staff, oh, what happened?
yeah,
you know, oh,
yeah,
this
exactly.
this is a horrible day for America, and it moves people's emotions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
You're
know,
you're Gen X. You're Gen X, just like me. I think we're the most conditioned, programmed generation there is, for the most part. I think, you know, even though these people are born into a lot of youngsters are born into digital technology and phones. We went from no phones to uh, street phone, the phone booths and everything. We've been programmed, especially with the TV. We were talking about that earlier. Generation X has just been programmed in a completely different way. We're different. You know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, we're programmed differently, right? And and that's actually what my most of my walk with the Lord has been. I became born again in 1998. That's when I finally came to Jesus Christ well, I actually came to the Father to know Him, and I was confronted with my sins, and I confessed them, and I remembered the cross. And when I remembered the cross, I wept before God, and I said, if you can, please forgive me for all my sins. I heard you sent Jesus to die for sin, and when I did, it was like He cleansed me from all my sins immediately, and His Spirit came in, and immediately, for the first time in my life, I had the Bible sitting in front of me, and for the first time in my life, I didn't even have to question. I knew it was God that had come in me, and I knew why this is called God's Word. And there was no doubt, no question that when I opened that word, He was going to start to speak. And so I grabbed that Bible when His Spirit came into me, and I said, I've spoken enough. Now I want to listen, whatever you have to say to me. And I opened it up just randomly to James, and God began to speak to me. And as I'm reading the words out loud, God is speaking to me in a manner that's different than what the actual word says. And God was literally rebuking me um, for my flippant blasphemy, my flippant sin in life. And He began to show me how He had delivered me from death many times. He protected me, and that He brought me here for such a time as I am living. Uh,
yes,
and it was an interesting thing. I never had that happen before. And even to this day, after that moment, I can't say that I've ever seen God speak to me from His word as I'm reading His word, and it coming in such a way that God is speaking not what the literary word says, but He's speaking directly to my heart of a bunch of
yes,
other things going on. Now I've
exactly.
had that happen. God does that to me. He'll speak to me with other things, but not as I'm reading His word. That was an interesting moment.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
and there's something else too. Hey Bob, the anytime somebody believes that God is speaking to them, it should always be uh, brought to the questions of what God has kept preserved in His words. What does the word say, God? Because the word of God say, because God will never speak something that's contradictory to what he has preserved in his record. One day I was reading the Bible and I heard a voice say, tear out that page and eat it. Paper is not fun to eat. You heard a voice say, tear out that page and eat it? I would have been questioning that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah, man.
considering Jesus said, man shall not live by bread alone, but
I
by
wonder what voice
every.
that was.
Yeah.
I wonder what voice that was. What
Tear
voice
out that
told you to
page.
do
You
that?
don't want that. Yeah, that was probably the page that says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of God. Every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
Exactly. That's hysterical. Oh man.
How important is every word of God? Because that's the foundation of the faith. God is not going to go against and contradict what he's written. In fact, I point this out over and over again that Jesus Christ always resorted to it is written. And he is the word of God made flesh, but yet he always um uh basically deferred his authority to what is written. When the Pharisees were challenging him and charging him, trying to trick him up, he would say, it is written. When Satan was trying to tempt him, he would say, it is written. And that's an important phrase because that's the foundation of the faith. And Jesus Christ himself literally submitted himself as a man on the earth unto the Father by the Spirit and stood on what is written. And that's why I say it's a very important foundation for the faith. Oddly enough, later on, I read in the Bible somewhere it was talking about eating the Word of God. So I don't know why you're laughing. I thought that was funny, Bob, because I can't see that. There's only one place I can think of in Ezekiel where an angel Ezekiel was given a vision, and he said in the vision to take it and eat the scroll that was before him. And so he took it and he ate it, and it was to his mouth sweet like honey, but it was bitter in his belly. And that was actually something. Oh, there's another scripture in Revelations that speaks of that. What it is the prophecy of the word of God for the future is sweet to the taste, but it's bitter to the belly. It's bitter to the gut. But God is not telling anyone to rip pages out of His Word and eat it. That wouldn't be God.
Now, Bob, the famine is coming. So, when you get hungry enough, you will eat pages. They're not too nutritional, but the famine
Well,
is coming. He's promised us that.
I got the ones with rice paper, so I'm good.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But yeah, the famine's coming, Bob. So hey, at least you got to warming up. It won't be so bad the second time around.
Yeah, that's what I said, Stephen. After I said Ezekiel, then I said, wait a minute, I do remember there was something in Revelations also. But
Oh,
yeah,
really? Okay.
yeah. So there are two places where they were told to eat the book. But if you look, John was in heaven also. It wasn't the physical book. He was given a vision from the very beginning all the way through the end. The book that he was given to eat was not a physical book. Don't share with y'all.
Meh.
Lesson learned. Mm.
No, Bob, it's cool. We're just don't feel that way, man. Everything's good. You're in the chat, man. We're just glad you're here, man.
One of the things you're going to find out about me is when somebody mentions anything, I'm going to put it to the critical analysis of the scriptures. And if you can't take the critical analysis of scriptures and you want to believe, I actually think that was a different voice that told you to rip out a page of the Bible and eat it. I could be wrong, but it just doesn't sound like something God would do.
That
And
was
the
your
food,
hungry voice.
huh?
That was the hungry voice.
That could have been the hungry voice. It could have been another voice, you know. Um, yeah, but there again, though, I mean, God preserved every word of God, and I can't see that if you have all of them, that God would want you to have some take away some of those. I could be wrong. I'm not going to be zealously dogmatic about it, but I'm just going to share with what I know. It doesn't seem to fit right, but you know,
Yeah, for everybody in the chat, we tried to do this once before. There was nobody in the chat, but I want to thank everybody for being here, and I want to thank you again, Scotty, for having me on here. And we were talking earlier on the phone. We were talking about frequency. We were really getting kind of deep about a lot of things. Um, there's a lot of things coming, but we were talking about some frequency, and I think to myself a lot of times, there's a lot of countries at war. They talk about nukes. They don't even need nukes. They can use frequency to bring an entire nation to its knees, holding their ear. You know what I mean? In pain. They don't even need to drop anything like that. They can use frequency. You know,
yeah, they
that
can.
Savannah syndrome bullshit or whatever they got.
There was somebody in the CIA in the 1960s that testified before a congressional hearing regarding a weapon that they had back then that was a heart attack weapon, that they could point it at somebody to create a heart attack, to cause them to have a heart
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah.
And that was in the 1960s.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, yeah, they've been working with frequencies a lot longer than we've been working with frequencies.
So yeah, they don't need a nuke. But uh, we've been, like you said, everything's pretty much our entire lives is a freaking lie. We were talking about the moon landing earlier and a bunch of other stuff, and it's 9/11. I don't chime in the chat what you think about 9/11. I guess we start talking about that a little bit and see what people think.
Yeah, yeah. How old are you, or how long ago did you find out that the official story of 9/11 wasn't true?
Me,
Yeah.
I'm not sold on it yet. I'm just like I said, I wasn't there. I see the ground footage from individuals, cameras. I can't say my eyes are lying when I see the planes crashing in. I mean, people think it was a demolition. I'm not going to say I'm even on the fence. I just know what I see, and I've seen it from all kinds of different angles. I've seen it from different distances in the far off. I've seen it close. I've seen underneath. I do believe a lot of demons. Either way, I do believe a lot of demons were released onto the earth that day. There's one photo I saw right after the quote unquote plane. I mean, even, like I said, I don't know. But when the plane crashed, you could see like the explosion was just blood red. You could tell all those people in that plane, all their blood was just like a big old splot of blood. There's one photo out there. It's not very popular, not very, you know, it's not like a main photo, but I looked at it and automatically knew that was all blood mixed in with the explosion. But like I said, I wasn't there. And I told this guy the other day, he's saying the same thing. And this was like in person, wasn't online, but I was like, if you want to know whether or not 9/11 really happened, go to New York, like today, go to the 9/11, go to New York, ground zero, 9/11, and yell out loud, this is a big conspiracy. It never happened. And then when people come in and swarm and beat your ass, then you know whether or not it happened or not.
Well, now there again, I don't want you to misunderstand me. Uh, I don't believe it didn't happen. I know it happened. I know that those buildings were demolished. In fact, there's actually all sorts of proof that there were contractors going in there every Friday night and Saturday night for about 6 months, I think it was, before the event. They were showing up in the night with these vans, and they were unloading boxes after boxes after boxes all through the night. And they had workers that were working in the buildings all through the night. They were claiming that they were doing security upgrades. That was the official claim. But one of the interesting things was that they, every Monday morning during this whole period, a different floor on each building had dust coating all of the furniture. Now, Friday after, the offices close, the cleaning crews come in. Actually used to work in maintenance on a high rise. The cleaning crews come in as soon as those offices close, and they go through and empty all the trash cans and clean all the ashtrays, although they don't smoke inside anymore. That was years ago. Um, they polish all the surfaces, the desks. They pledge those. They clean the bathrooms. Everything gets cleaned right afterwards. And all of a sudden, during the 6 month period, when people come into their offices Monday morning, everything had a coating of dust all over it. And the reason was because they were drilling into the concrete to be able to plant the nanothermite all the way against the steel beams. That's the only way they could have brought that building down, was to get that nanothermite to the steel beams. And that's one of the things that they found in about 6% of the ash was nanothermite.
Mm.
And so that was an interesting find. Like I said, I went down the rabbit hole researching information in 9/11, and there was trillions of dollars made by the globalists, the bankers, the ones that have.
Oh yeah, we talked about that the day before all those trillions were missing. Donald Rumsfeld, yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, right. And
I do believe they were behind it, no question about it. Whether the plane crashing or not, I know that the Bush family and Dick Cheney, they had all planned all this stuff out.
Plane that hit the second tower hit at a certain angle. That is the angle I'm talking about. That the archer held his bow and arrow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, unless you send me a picture, I'm not really sure how you're referring to that. Like this, maybe like this. Is this what you're saying? Aiming it like that instead of like this? Because this is how it should be held, a bow. And then this is what I'm kind of thinking you're saying.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But yeah, this
All
live
I
stream
know,
is definitely not going into the mainstream today.
that's all right.
Were
Next
you
time.
in there last night? I thought you were.
I was, I was in there and it was flooded, man. Everybody was like, they were trying to decide how they were gonna go forward in their life without Charlie Kirk. I was here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in here didn't know what they were gonna do.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of chat I couldn't even read. It was moving so fast sometimes, and then somebody was in there saying they were going to report me because I'm causing harm.
Well, that's probably why there's nobody in here.
Yeah, they reported me. I harmed somebody. Building 7 is a giant FU to the world. Yep, nothing hit it. No one brings it up. Mass stupidity is amazing to watch. I know that. I believe the official story. And I was moved with emotion when I saw the planes hit the buildings and I saw people jumping out of these gaping holes way up there, to plummeting to the ground to their death, because death was more desirable than the torments of the flames that they were in. And so my heart was just moved with sorrow, great sorrow. And I probably cried a whole bunch. And then within an hour of seeing that, all of a sudden, all the news pundits began telling me it was Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda. And then, next thing you know, now all of that sorrow is turned into anger. And now I've got an anger in me and righteous indignation to see those people, face justice for what they did. And I was 100% behind the American forces going in and invading the foreign lands. And then I think it was about 4 years later, around 2005 or so. I had already seen a few things in the political arena that didn't sit well with me, showing that Bush was a controlled man. And my brother, one day I was talking to him on the phone, and he's younger than me, but he's pretty intelligent. I was telling him something about, yeah, we got to go over there and get those sand niggers, and we need to, light up their world like they lit up ours or something. I was just repeating the things that was part of it. And my brother said, Scott, you need to look into Building 7. And I said, what? And I had almost totally forgotten about Building 7. And he said it was the third building that came down at the end of the day on 9/11. He said, you need to look into it. You need to look into Building 7. And so he left it at that because he knew I would look into it. I wasn't just going to leave it lay. So I did. And I looked into it. And as soon as I saw that building come down into its own footprint, I realized right then and there, this was a fucking controlled demolition. There's nothing that could have brought 47-story high rise with over 300,000 tons of concrete and steel down into its own footprint at the rate of gravity. Like as quick as you can drop a rock to the ground, that's how quick that whole building came down. And that's how quick Towers 1 and Towers 2 came down. They came down at free fall speed. It looked slower because it was so far away and it was so many stories coming down. But we saw it coming down. It looked slow from a distance, but if you were up there like watching it, they were dropping as quickly as you would drop a stone and it would hit the ground because there was no resistance, and that's what controlled demolitions need, is to remove the steel underneath it as it's coming down. And that's why all those firemen were saying they could hear the explosions in succession. Boom, 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 boom. And that's what all sorts of people testify. I mean, dozens upon dozens of people testified of explosions on camera in the official news agencies.
What about if the Twin Towers were hit by the planes and just Building 3 was demoed?
If the
You ever
Twin
think of that?
Towers, if what?
If the Twin Towers were hit by planes and just Building 3 was demoed? If it was just Building 3 that was demoed, because that was the building where all the record keeping for the Pentagon was at, right? Building 3?
No, the record keeping was in the Pentagon. It was in the budget analyst's office. You're talking about on September the 10th when Donald Rumsfeld was testifying before Congress.
Oh yeah, I know about that, but I'm just talking about like Building 3. What if Building 3 was the only one that was demoed and the other two, the Twin Towers, were hit by planes? I mean, have you ever thought of that? I'm not saying that's what happened, but has that ever crossed your mind?
Um, no, it didn't, and the reason is because it's actually physically impossible for those two towers to come down into their own footprint at the rate of free fall speed without having been controlled demolitions. It's just not possible.
So did the planes fly in? You're saying the planes never hit the buildings, right?
I'm saying with all the research that I've seen, it looks like the planes were hijacked in the midair by the military, by military
I
aircraft.
always thought that they were they somehow turned those planes into some kind of heat-seeking guided missile to hit those buildings. That's always been in the back of my mind.
Yeah. An interesting thing about those is the there's a lot going on with that, and if you want, I'll gladly send you along the lines to find to show you the information. That
I've seen
morning,
everything about it, and I'm sure.
okay, because that morning there was the largest joint Air Force drills with commercial airliners in the history of air flight. They had a joint drill that morning that was planned for a long time to do a drill with the military working together with commercial aircraft, and all of the air traffic controllers were informed that there were going to be these ghost blips on the radar, on the air traffic control radar, they would have a military signal for these exercises that they were doing, this joint exercise. And so it caused a lot of confusion in the air during that time. And that was an intentional deal. And there was an aircraft controller that actually recorded, and I think he uploaded on YouTube, but it got disappeared pretty quickly. But I'm sure I could find that on odyssey.com, where it shows the flight path of the planes that were hijacked they show every one of those airplanes crossed paths with a military blip, a ghost blip. And when they did, the the signal for the commercial aircraft was transmitted to the signal for the ghost aircraft. And so then the commercial aircraft took the military signal, and then the ghost aircraft, the commercial aircraft took the then the military signal took the commercial signal. So the military, which was a ghost plane, picked up the signal of the commercial plane, and then you've got this thing flying into the buildings. And the ones that were the military ghost signal planes were taken to a location where they probably killed all of the passengers.
My thing is, I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, fuck what happened in New York. When the Pentagon got hit, they got more cameras than any damn place ever, and you're only going to give me that shady footage that went into the Pentagon? I'm more concerned about that bullshit than I am what happened in New York.
Yeah, all they showed was an explosion. They didn't show a plane or a missile hitting.
I'm more concerned about that than I am the damn Twin Towers. It's like, you people are something else, man. You want me to believe the Pentagon, one of the most protected facilities on the planet, and you got this little sketchy, sandy footage, and that's it? So I'm more concerned about that than anything.
And the initial pictures they showed with only one hole in the Pentagon budget analyst's office where all the paperwork was being held, and that hole was smaller than the fuselage of the airplane that they claimed hit it. And there was no damage done to any particular area there would be wings at, and there was no wings on the outside of the building. It's like, well, what?
There was no at all, if I understand right. Was there anything left or recovered from the plane?
No. And then the one that went down in Pennsylvania, there was absolutely no debris there. And they tried
the fighter jets took that sucker out.
Yeah, that was a missile. What we saw in Pennsylvania was a missile.
Yeah.
There was no plane debris. It was just a huge fucking hole in the ground.
That was just all old man Bush, Herbert Walker telling his son what to do, and Dick Cheney. It was old man Bush. He was the one that orchestrated the entire thing, I'm pretty sure.
Well, he was definitely a part of it. He was definitely a part of it. Yeah, it was orchestrated by the people that control both of them. Hey, I'm going to mute. I'll be right back.
You guys still hear me out there? Or you mute everything? Yeah, so Revelation, that's interesting. That's something we need to touch on. What's coming? This digital panopticon that they're gonna use 5G to hive everything. They already have the digital meters on our homes. Each home is linked together. Hey, Scott, I was just gonna see if we could touch on the.
I heard you. I could hear you the whole time.
Okay. Yeah. So the digital panopticon, I want to just put a bug in your ear if you're not aware of it, that everything's going to be linked in through 5G. And me and Scott were talking earlier about the nanoparticles and the nanobots that can be put in your bloodstream, which what looks like liquid is not. It's just nanoparticles. But with the 5G and the hive, your phones, the electric meters on your house, every home is hived in. They're going to be able to zoom in and just control us like absolute slaves. It's coming. I can see it. And try your very best to try to get around it and cut. Everybody's on Facebook. Facebook wasn't created to make friends and to show everybody, to reconnect. That was not its purpose. Purpose was to get your data. It's a data harvesting website, And if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, or TikTok, it's game over, because if you still can get off of there and delete your account the best you can and do what you got to do, but you need to come out of this world. You need to come out of her. You understand? So,
Yeah, Bob says that Albania installed an AI prime minister today.
Albania. Is he just like on a screen, or is he like a hologram, or what?
I don't know. I've never heard this before.
Charlie Kirk was just a distraction. Yeah. I hope that guy's not hanging around somewhere. Hopefully we're done with Charlie Kirk. But I heard, like, in Arizona, they showed up with this casket and JD Vance was there or something. I don't know. But Charlie Kirk, he's one of those J6 guys that wholeheartedly, said it never happened. He's a traitor, in my opinion, saying that, 9/11 was a great thing and da-da-da, and nothing ever happened, blah, blah, blah. But, it's not the case. You believe you my lying eyes. I sat there and watched it along with the rest of the nation live, you know. So a guy like that lying to multitudes of people, that's never a holy thing to do. That's for sure.
I just looked up the Prime Minister of Albania, and it says Edi Rama, since September 11, 2013, 12 years today, Rama is serving as the 33rd Prime Minister of Albania. During the electoral campaign, Rama stated that the return of public order was his number one priority. Who is the new Prime Minister? Edvin Kristak Rama.
Go to images and see what shows up.
Yeah, it's saying it's the same guy, though.
Oh, really? He's been there for what, 24 years?
Huh?
How long has he been? 17 or 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years, 13 years?
Yeah, 12 years today.
Huh.
2013. That was the year my wife left me.
That was the year what?
That was the year my wife left me, 2013.
2013. Well, I guess the AI was around in 2013. Is that what we're trying to say here?
No, I think Bob was saying that Albania just now installed them today, but Google doesn't always tell you the truth, so I don't know what to.
Yeah.
Albania new. I'm going to put new Albania Prime Minister. New. Yeah, it's still saying Edi Rama is still the same. He's the Prime Minister. He won the elections May 2025.
Where the hell is Albania?
Unless he's saying that they basically replaced him with an AI him.
Maybe so. Maybe that's what he's trying to say?
Could be.
I know we got like 3 or 4 different presidents and quote presidents and president. I know there's like at least 3 of that guy. One's rotting, and then one's not, and then one looks like he's fresh out of the gym. You got the golf one. There's a bunch of quote presidents.
Ooh.
But yeah, as far as go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just reading this. He says Rama installed AI as Prime Minister.
Oh, okay. So the Prime Minister is AI. Is AI like damn Alexa, like Amazon Alexa or some bullshit? Right?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like he's saying.
Yeah, that's crazier than hell. Where is Albania at? What part of the world is that in?
That's that's in Eastern Europe. That's just east across the sea from Italy.
Okay.
It's near Serbia and not too far from Turkey in that area.
Well, I guess they can do that over there. Nobody really cares. We don't ever hear of Albania. We don't often ever hear of Albania. I
Yeah,
guess
I
they
mean,
can
if
put
we heard
out
that the
AI
Albanian
in
army was coming, we'd be like, okay.
there. And yeah, right. Yeah, the Albanian army's gonna invade.
Hey,
Run,
Fred, you
run to
got
your,
your
run to your
guns?
safe.
Yeah, we're
Run to
good.
your safe. Yeah.
Albania's coming. Hey, Fred, you got your guns? Yeah, okay, we're good. No, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I don't think they're both that. There's not too many countries out there. Even though I believe there's something going on, they're trying to let some people in here to invade us. I really do believe that, but to come in a full frontal, like straight up kamikaze, like invasion of the United States of America, that ain't gonna work out. You know,
Unless the powers in control of the United States open up the
let
gateway and let them.
let them in, sure. And I believe that that's what's going to happen. I really do.
Me too. Me too.
So
They may make it try to look like, and apparently people believe whatever the fuck they're told by the TV, but they may make it look like it was, they use some kind of cloaking mechanism to prevent, the largest surveillance intelligence fucking agency in the world from finding them. All
yeah,
of a sudden we're invaded. Yeah, all of a sudden we're invaded by a whole bunch of troops from all around the world gathered together against us, and the most sophisticated network of surveillance in the world that didn't even see them coming.
well, just like the IDF, guys flew in on kites and got through the dome and just wreaked havoc, and we're still blowing those people up. You know what I mean? It just happened. You know,
Hmm.
over in Israel, the Hamas or whatever the how they flew in on kites.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear about it.
No, that was what caused this whole Gaza war. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember, they flew in on those kites, and the dome was down. Just so happened to be like a day after civil unrest was going to break out because Netanyahu's term was up. They were kicking him out of office. Then all of a sudden, here comes these black kites of Hamas. They get through the dome and the IDF and everybody else, the most sophisticated military almost on the planet.
yeah,
But my point is, they were let in. They were allowed to be in
a hundred
because it was,
percent, a hundred
yeah.
percent, 100%. Yeah,
And I think that they call Israel our greatest ally. They would not lift a finger to help us if we got invaded. You know that?
oh yeah, no, they wouldn't be able to. I don't know if this is how it's going to go down, but I believe we're going to be invaded, and I think that right before it happens, that the Department of Defense is going to send troops somewhere else, and weaken our homeland defense.
That reminds me of something too. Did Trump send in the National Guard up in Utah where Charlie Kirk got shot? Since the crime rate and everything like that's out of control, or no?
No, I don't think he did.
Oh, okay. I didn't think so. All right. Well, I don't know. It's really weird because that guy's like, we're going to find who did this and we're going to persecute them to the highest extent of the law. He didn't say that this time for whatever reason. Almost like he was involved in it somehow. If you ask me, I don't know. I know Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk made a living off of the Epstein files, and then all of a sudden, when he said they weren't going to be released, his whole business, quote unquote, went down the tubes. We're not going to talk about the files anymore. His whole entire platform was based on the files
Yeah, no
from the
shit.
election to now, and now so whatever. There's so many people online last night after I got off your live that just people that I didn't even think, it wasn't fake either. You expect the fake tears and the fake I love yous and all that stuff. But there was people genuinely hurt by this guy
Yeah.
passing, and it's just like people that I'd never even thought would care, be invested in that, and they were like defending him tooth and nail. It's like the dude sat here and tried to tell you 9/11 was a hoax, or not 9/11, but J6. J6 was a hoax. You didn't see what you saw, So anyway,
Well, and that's actually one of the dangers in believing what we're given on the TV, because with all deep fake stuff, you don't know who's saying what, really.
that's
You know,
true. That's
with
true.
all of the orchestration of all these events, I mean, I don't know if you ever looked into the Sandy Hook deal, but Alex Jones is one of the controlled opposition agents. I picked that up early on because
Oh yeah,
and so that whole thing, I don't know about the lawsuit there, but it was a civil suit that was brought against him because he said that Sandy Hook, no children died in Sandy Hook, and that it was a hoax. Well, then it was proven in a court of law. Hey, what's going on? Did you call me a Tucker? That's Birdie over there. Our Patrick.
yeah. He's back in court trying to get that money back as we speak.
Yeah, it'll just keep people distracted by shit, is what it is.
Alex Jones. He's CIA all day. Him and Joe Rogan, they're all CIA. Every last one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you can see through that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan, you ever wonder how he gets all these super high profile people on his show, like just at a whim, a snap of the finger,
Oh, yeah.
Like, give me a break.
Who
Nobody
you
even listens to that guy, and he got all that money. He got all that money from Henry Kissinger, man.
So our Patrick, this is T-Rex. He's been coming into the live stream since I started live streaming, I think back in June or July. And so he just, we were talking earlier, and it's like, man, why don't you come and do a live with me? Because he's got a lot of input to bring. And
Hey, Birdie, how you doing, man? I don't think I've ever seen you in the live, but hey, thanks for coming out and checking it out. Put my 2 cents in. So.
Birdie's an electrician he's got one of these. It's a Toyota disorder. I think he's got this fixation on Toyotas. You know how you got Jeep things, and it's a Toyota thing.
Yeah. All right. So okay, Birdie? So you're an electrician?
Yeah. I call him Sparky. It's Sparky.
Is there any way around the digital meters we have in our house? Is there any like hack on that?
Interesting. You should bring that up. In 2003. Wait, how do you do add me? No, there's no way around it. How do you do? Oh, you want to come on too?
You can do that, right?
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me get it.
You said no.
He was saying no about the electric, I think.
Oh, okay. There's no way around it.
Electric meter. Now I'm going to see if I can go ahead and find Birdie. And oh wait. Yeah, here we go.
All right, I'll be right back. Gotta take a leak.
Right on. Clipboard. Oh, hold on a second, dude. I gotta go through and yeah, I can't do it that way. Hold on. My other account. Here we go. Copy URL. Go here. All right, man. I just sent it to you. See if you can get on. Now, do you add me to the live? I'm seeing if I can. I don't know if it's got a limit of 2 people or if you can have 3. If I can have 3, you should be. You just got a link, so if you click on it, you should be able to get on live, dude. I guess when so I just sent Bertie the link to the live, and I guess we'll see if it gives me the option to let him on. Because as soon as he clicks on it, it should say, "Hey, somebody wants to come on here."
You send him the same link you sent me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they only give me one link for this live stream.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's 9/11. I know it's 9/11. It's just like, I don't know how we're going to get past, it's not 9/11 that's important. It's like, how are we going to, the more important thing is how are we going to get past Charlie Kirk, How are we going to move forward from this point? I don't know. So I don't know. You tell me,
Yeah, we can't. We can't. We need closure. The only way we can get closure is if we get rid of LGBTQ people, right?
Ah, shit. He is tossing out them hats. You see him come out and toss out all those hats into the crowd before he got popped?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he came out tossing out them hats, man. He was tossing them in the crowd like they were popcorn candy, man.
Oh, so our Patrick says that it says the host has added the maximum number of guests. So I guess YouTube only allows you to have one guest at a time.
That's really? Wow.
That's what it says. I was wondering because it wasn't showing up. I know man, that's. And since I'm the host, I can't bow out and let you guys talk.
Right. Well, it's I'll keep track of the chat. I'm sure you'll be coming through pretty clearly on what he's saying. But yeah, he said there's no way around the. Yeah, that'd be really cool if he could come through, man.
Oh, the electric meter. So in 2003, I sold my house in Illinois. And they had just got through installing the AMR meter or a smart meter on it. And I began to look into it a little bit. It was interesting because as I was searching out conspiracies, I came across the information about these smart meters that they were putting out.
Smart meter.
Yeah. And so one day, and this is probably 2014 or 2000, somewhere around there, I got a notification from my electric company that they were going to change out my meter and they needed to set up a date. And I was like, no, I called them up and I said, I don't want that meter.
Yeah.
And they said, well, eventually you're going to have it. And I said, well, I don't want it. And one day they put me in touch with the vice president in charge of AMR meters. And so they actually have a whole department with a vice president in charge and probably a president in charge of AMR meters. And I talked to the guy and I said, here's my concerns. They're emitting a low frequency transmission that's enough to go through 30 feet of concrete. And these transmissions they're known to affect the cells in the body.
Yeah.
I said my AMR meter my electric meter is literally 10 feet or 12 feet away from where I sleep at night.
Yeah.
And I don't want that thing pulsing signals through. And that's what I remember learning was it's sending signals every 6 seconds or 8 seconds or something. And I said, and I don't like the idea of having my data of my electrical use being able to be stored and tracked in a more detailed way. And he denied all that. He said, "Yeah, none of that's an issue." I said, "Well, then what's the problem? I don't want it."
Yeah.
And he said, "Okay, well, you won't have to get it then." I said, "Okay." And right after I got on the phone with him, within a week, there was a subcontracting company that came. Yeah, EMF waves, exactly. Scott searched out info. Yeah, you don't say. So then there's a subcontracting company that came. And he never knocked on my door. I watched him in the front yard. He just pulled up to the front of my house, grabbed a meter, and started walking to the back of my house where he got to meet me with a 357 in my hand.
There you go.
I'm like, what the fuck do you think you're going to do?
Yeah.
And the dude was like shaking in his pants, and he's like, I got to change the meter. I said, no, you fucking don't. I said, I've already told the electric company, and I've been guaranteed I don't need to get it. And if you come back here, you're trespassed now.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
yeah. And about 3 or 4 months later, I come home from work, and the sun happened to be shining at the perfect angle to cause the glass from the brand new AMR meter on the house to shine into my eye. And I'm a window cleaner, and I know a clean glass when I see it, you know. And I'm like, my old meter was fucking dirty and nasty.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I told you earlier, my gas company was going to try. I asked them to take it off. They said I have to pay $100 more a month if I was going to do the old meter. But when you talk about smart, the word SMART, that's surveillance monitoring apparatus radio technology. When you talk about smartphone, smart TV, smart
Self-monitoring.
meters,
Self-monitoring. It's self-monitoring.
surveillance. But yeah, you sit in your house. You can feel your muscles twitching from that damn thing connected to your house. You be sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden you feel your muscles twitching from that bullshit. You know. But yeah, smart as far as surveillance, like your smart TV in your house or your smartphone, that's surveillance. Now, as far as a smart meter on your house, that might be what do you call it?
So the AMR is what they are.
AMR, but the S in smart you said was not it's surveillance when it comes to your phone and your TV technology. But as far as the one that's connected to your house, you said the S was for what now?
No,
That's not
the
real.
smartphone is like self-monitoring.
Self-monitoring is for the house. Yeah. The other one's for surveillance. Yeah,
Okay.
but the EMF and the technology attached to your home is self-monitoring, but your phone, smartphone, your smart TV, your smart iPad, that's all that S means surveillance.
Now I got a fact check on this because I looked it up before, and it was like,
You probably won't be able to find that. I don't know if you will. If you can, that'd be pretty extraordinary. Surveillance monitoring apparatus radio technology. Self-monitoring would be your house, your gas meter, your electric meter. That'd be self-monitoring. But
yeah,
everything else is pretty much
I think
surveillance.
they're changing the definitions, dude. Because I just looked this up last year, and that's another thing I've noticed. The definitions change. It's contingent punishment effective in dog training or detrimental. Contingent punishment. Like you're going to be punished contingent upon you doing something wrong.
Hmm.
I don't know why this is not giving it to me.
Well, you're not going to find the surveillance monitoring apparatus. You're not going to find that. You're not going to be able to Google that.
No, I just looked up SMART devices to find out what it means.
S dot M dot A dot R dot T dot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to give you a clear definition on that, even on
Look at
Google.
this. I've got fucking a great signal. I've got fiber optic network. I'm
Yeah,
using the
yeah, it looks
Wi-Fi.
good.
It won't give it to me.
It looks real good right there. That's easy reading right there on your phone, buddy.
Yeah, but it won't give it to me. It will the Google search won't give it to me.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to really I don't know. I don't think they want people finding that, but
I never had a problem before. Kind of
type
want to.
in Charlie Kirk and see what happens.
Oh, okay. So T-Rex, Birdie DIY gave you a question.
Yeah, you're kind of breaking up a little bit, Scotty. Just okay, so I kind of want to hear your guest answer, just reading the question and not looking it up. I kind of want to hear your guest answer, just reading the question.
Yeah, he wants you to answer the question he asked about contingent punishment.
Contingent punishment, effective in dog training or detrimental? Is that like Pavlov's dog type thing, or what is that? I don't understand.
Yeah, contingency is usually based upon a
Contingency punishment effective.
So like if you purchase a house, you purchase it with contingency on selling another one. So it's kind of like contingency punishment to me would mean it's contingent upon you doing something you're not supposed to do.
Okay. So you get punished for it, like a dog, right?
All right, dude. I'm just trying to explain the term. I'm not answering the question.
I don't know. It's like, where am I now? Am I in Twilight Zone here? So, yeah. I mean, my house is paid off and shit. I guess I'm not getting punished anymore. Is that what? I don't know, man. I don't know what you want me to say.
You're talking about dog training. Like, what are your?
I'm not looking. I'm not Googling it either. I'm just reading your comment. I haven't Googled it or anything.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on dog
Okay,
training?
wait. Is contingent punishment effective in dog training or detrimental? Okay, I get it now. So, is dog training or detrimental? I don't fucking know the answer.
Is it effective? Is it effective or is it detrimental?
But he's asking, is it effective in dog training or detrimental in dog training, right?
No. He's asking if contingent punishment in dog training is it effective or for correcting the behavior, or is it detrimental in harming the dog?
Shit, I'd say both, right? But you can only pick one. I'd have to say effective.
Yeah.
You know? Effective. I think the dog would say you're fucking detrimental, you know?
He's putting you through a worldview test is what it was.
Yeah, I totally caught me off guard. I'm not going to lie. I had to read that like 900 times to figure out what was being asked. But yeah, I have to say effective because the dog is smart. You can't do contingent punishment with a cat. You can do it with the dog. So I have to say it's effective for sure.
I've done contingent punishment with my cat, and I've corrected it, and it's been both effective and detrimental.
Really?
Yeah. One thing I don't allow is counter surfing. I do not allow my cats on my food surfaces. I don't allow them on my tables. I don't allow them on my counters, and I don't allow them to scratch any of my furniture except for one wooden box that I allow them to scratch, and that's it.
What are you sipping on, brother?
Me?
Yeah, is that milk?
Oh yeah, that's milk.
Okay. Yeah, I hear they're coming out with feline police cats now. They have like a feline unit on the side of the police car. Have you seen that?
No.
It's a lion, man. It's a lion. It's a lion in there.
Yeah, it would have to be.
Oh man.
Knowing modern day cops.
Oh man. That
Come
would
out or we're
fucking
gonna
scare the
send
piss out of
Leo.
somebody. Huh?
Come out or we're gonna send Leo in.
Yeah, you imagine like declawing and de-teething a damn lion and like busting it out on somebody, you'd be fucking shit. You know what I mean? If they declawed it and defanged it or whatever the hell you want to call it, took its dentures out or whatever you want to call it.
They wouldn't do that.
You'd be like, oh shit. I bet crime would be like come to a fucking halt if motherfuckers start driving around with lions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so one of the things I learned is I got to catch my cats in the act of doing something they're not supposed to do. Jump on the counter, pick them up by the scruff, and smack their ass. That's how I corrected them. That was contingent punishment. um, Contingent punishment is only effective if the animal is in the correct state of mind to receive it and it understands why it's being punished. Otherwise, it's just confusing to the animal. So
Yeah.
that's an important thing because that's something I've always done. Like I was saying, when I catch the cat in the act, I always knew, never, without even learning this from educational means, just instinctively, I knew that animals aren't wise enough to have a memory as to why they're being punished if you don't catch them in the act. Like except for like taking a dog to where he shit. That's something that works. So you didn't see him shit and you didn't stop him from shitting, but you can take him back to your pile, stick his nose in it, and tell him no and smack his ass, and then bring that pile over to the area you want him to shit in the yard. And I trained all my dogs to do that. They picked it up pretty quickly. They knew where to shit in the yard.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, well, there's no comparison between cats and dogs. I've seen dogs rescue people from fires, and shit like their owners from fires and stuff like that. A cat's not gonna do that ever. It just doesn't give a shit for one, and then number two, it's just
The cat's gonna start the fire. Fuck you, kidding?
yeah, exactly.
Cat's gonna be like, I'll burn this motherfucker down.
Yeah, it's why you don't punish a dog for what you're talking about. All right. Yeah, man. So
But for the most part, you want to catch an animal in the act of doing something so that there's no question what they're doing wrong.
yeah.
That would be contingent punishment, I guess. So I was kind of right.
All right, Bertie, did I answer your question? I don't know. Did I? Is that okay? It's a tough one. That was the toughest one I had in my entire life, I think. The question there.
Toughest question in your entire life.
I actually had to read it like 3 times. I don't usually have to do that. But I mean that you didn't write it wrong. It's just I'm just reading differently for whatever reason. My vision's not all that great either. I was telling them I'll be 50 in a few days, so everything's kind of deteriorating.
Do you wear glasses?
Well, I just had a cataract removed in my left eye earlier this year. I can see really far with my left eye, but up close, I still need readers. I got readers, I just don't wear them. And then my right eye has got a contact in it, believe it or not. And so yeah. I just bought my first pair of readers the other day for like $3 at like Family Dollar. Because when I read the Bible, it's like it's like really hard to read because it all kind of runs together a little bit.
All right, peace out, Birdie.
Hey, thanks for coming in, Bertie. Let's try to do a three, like a triple threat next time. We can all get in here at the same time.
Yeah, I might have to do that through a third party app or something.
Yeah, you might have to do it through StreamYard or something.
Yeah, that's one
Take
thing.
care, man. You take care of yourself. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it would be cool to talk to an electrician. I got a friend that's an electrician, but they know a lot about like if I'm sure stuff that's hooked to hit like somebody like his home or something. I'm sure he knows something about some way to get around it. But they got a camera on that son of a bitch, I think, too. The one that's out in your house. If you try to tamper with it, I think they can see you tampering with it.
Oh, huh. Yeah, when they put that AMR meter on my house outside of my will when I wasn't home,
Oh, that pissed you off.
I was actually contemplating on just going off the grid completely and saying "fuck you" then.
You and I were talking like city and rural earlier. Remember?
Talking about what?
We were talking about city, suburb, and rural earlier. A
Yeah.
little, we touched on it lightly, but so the city, yeah, everybody's like, get out of the city when it all goes down. But at the same time, the rural, all they have to do is like wildfire you out and burn you down. It's just as easy. You know what I mean? It's both like two double-edged sword. You know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting though. The Bible actually says that in the last days, this is in a few places, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Revelations, that there's going to be a fleeing into the wilderness. But Revelation specifically states that it's going to be a place that's been prepared where God's people are going to be protected and fed during the time of the tribulation. And so I actually I don't know how that's going to work out exactly, but the Bible says the earth is going to open up her mouth to help the woman, which is God's people. And I wonder if, and this is just a speculation, is if the Yellowstone magma chamber, which is one of the largest super volcanoes in the world, blew up, it exploded, the earth would be opening up her mouth,
That's coming.
and all of the ash up in the stratosphere that would take place would basically cause everybody to be locked down from air travel.
Oh yeah, it'd be locked down from life, man. Breathing that
Yeah,
garbage in like that.
yeah, you wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't be able to get the drones up in the air. They wouldn't be able to, or keep them up in the air. Flight would be down. They wouldn't be able to get helicopters and stuff. And I would imagine that, yeah, it would be, depending on where you were, that'd be a pretty bad place. If you're just upwind of it, you'd be okay.
Yeah, that's supposed to like if that blew, it's supposed to darken the entire country and then the ocean. It's supposed to be really bad, apparently. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you can't.
remember.
I'm sure there's countries out there waiting for that to blow so they can send their missiles over here. You know?
Well, I think it was about 6 years ago or so that they had actually discovered that the magma chamber was like 10 times bigger than they had ever thought,
Mm.
making it, if I remember correctly, the largest magma chamber in the world that's been found.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And before that, they were saying that if it went off, that we here over in Indiana would get like 2 inches of ash all across everything, and it would basically sterilize the soil.
Mm-hmm. Things to look forward to. Good times, right? It's coming.
Yeah.
We're on that New Madrid fault line. I think, man, if the volcano blew, I think it would trigger all kinds of fault lines in the United States. I really do, because
Oh
that
yeah,
thing
yeah.
is going to shake every damn thing. That super volcano, and it touches on that in Revelation too. You know what I mean? So I don't know what it means when I have my thoughts on I guess the star falls and it opens the pit or it has a key to the bottomless pit. Some
Yep.
star falls from the sky and has the keys to the bottomless pit. Kind of sounds like something's going to come out of the atmosphere so hard and hit the earth so hard that it's going to split everything open.
Well, I think that the angel shall descend having a key to the bottomless pit. But there's another scripture that speaks of a star that's going to fall, and its name is wormwood, and that
Yes,
star is going to cause a third of the waters to become wormwood
and bitter.
or, or
Yeah,
bitter. Yeah, bitter.
yeah. That's to me. Every time I read that, I just think nuclear waste for some reason. But I don't know.
Oh, dude, you know what? It could be. Here's something I like to point out is uh, God's words are not metaphorical. They're, especially when you're speaking, if it's not written as a metaphor, but you're talking in Revelations, the entire book is what he's seeing in the spiritual realm. These
Right.
are spiritual entities, spiritual beings, an angel, a star falling from heaven, and there is a physical, um, uh, what do you call it? So the spiritual makes the physical, basically affects the physical world. And so when you got this star falling from heaven that's going to, make a third of the waters bitter, it absolutely could be like radioactive waste or toxic chemical waste or something,
Yeah, figuratively, symbolically, literally.
Yeah, like literally, yeah. But
Um,
I found that's actually one of the ways that I found to be able to escape deception is to, and I know I talked about it before, is to read God's word as it's written and don't add to or take away.
yeah, for sure. Um,
So there's
and I don't
speculation.
think. Go ahead. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I was just going to say there are things that we can speculate on. I didn't mean to bump that. There's things we can speculate on, but at the end of the day, if it's not what God said, dude, look at this.
Yeah, see, it's all crazy looking, man. But yeah, these ministers and these churches and pretty much everybody out there preaching tries to avoid revelation like the plague, man. They don't. They really try to avoid it, man. It's like sometimes I wonder. Oh yeah, you don't have any signal on. Oh, Google working
No,
its magic. Well, you
I
got
got a great,
YouTube.
I
You
got
got
a great
YouTube.
signal.
You
I,
oh
I
you
got a great signal. So look, I type in smart devices meaning. Now I hit send, and it doesn't give me anything, right?
oh yeah. Well yeah, they don't want you to know that, brother.
But it
They're not.
did before. But it did before.
Yeah,
Now, but
sure.
if I type in smart and I hit send, then it will. Now it's not giving me
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. AI is like, oh no. You don't need to know that, Scott. That's what AI is saying. Google AI is saying, no, you don't need to know. That's what it's doing.
That's
That's
weird.
exactly what it's doing.
No,
It's like,
now it's
no,
not
you
letting
don't
me
need to
do
know that.
anything. It's not letting me do anything. Anything I search isn't coming through now. That's weird. I just got to shut it
Yeah,
off. Okay. Okay. Now, yeah, I just had to shut it all down. That's all.
that's so weird because YouTube is Google and we're streaming, everything's working fine, and then you Google on your phone and it doesn't come through. That's really odd. Birdie's back in here. Peace out. Do
Hey,
not
take it
follow the
easy, Birdie.
words. The word of RP Atric is both. Maybe that's old. I don't know. But I don't know, man. It's almost 10:30 or almost 11 o'clock.
What
Uh,
is SMART an acronym for in smartphone?
there you go.
Self-monitoring, analysis, and reporting technology.
Yeah, that's what they want you to think it is.
That's what that's what it no, the device is self-monitoring, analysis, and reporting. So it's the device itself does its own monitoring, analysis, and then it reports it back to the mothership.
So it's surveillance.
Yeah, but the word is self-monitoring, analysis, reporting technology.
Yeah, I heard that
I
from
knew I
somebody
was
that was
right.
in
I was
telecommunications. Huh?
right. I said I knew I was right. I was right.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, you are self-righteous. Uh, somebody in fiber optics told me that, and I'm like, well, he must know what the hell you're talking about. Been in fiber optics for your entire freaking life. He's like, he also told me you're not going to find it online. You know, nobody's going to tell you that. If you go to the Pentagon website, I'm sure it's on there.
Yeah, they just love to advertise all they're doing.
Oh, I'm sure it's on there, but you don't want to go on that website. You don't want to go on that website.
I've
You
been on
want
the
to click.
Pentagon website. I've been on the Department of what is that? The DOD? No, who is that? Homeland Security and FEMA.
Yeah.
I've gone in there and typed in their search bar, "Fuck you."
Oh, really?
Oh
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, you got a file. I got a file. I know for sure. I looked up. I'm always checking my see if my shit's out there, and I came across something that said I had some kind of federal file, some kind of FBI file or something. It's like I don't know if it's from me being with my dad in the military, or if it's from purchasing firearms or ammo or what. But yeah, there's some file out there.
Oh yeah.
It specifically told me, yeah, you got a file.
When I first started searching out the truth of these wicked criminal corruptions that are taking place in major industries and deceptions, at that point in time, I already determined I'm going to publish this information. I don't give a fuck what they come and do.
Yeah.
Well, and that was actually my mindset. Was I thought I'm probably going to be on a list, a red list, and one day they're probably going to show up at my house and fucking off me. You know?
Yeah, I don't worry about that. I just don't want them to win. I'm not trying to give them an easy road to winning. You know what I mean? I don't care if they show up right now. You know what I mean? I really don't.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. I
I'm
don't.
not.
But I
They
just
don't.
don't want them to win with their bullshit. They're coming with us, picking on us like little fucking ants. It's like, fuck you people. I'm not going to give you an easy road. You know, I don't.
Yeah.
It's not about being scared. I'm not scared at all. It's just like, no, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to work for this bullshit.
But what
You
I
know?
found out was, and this is back in 2005, six, mind you. What I found out was, I am on a red list. But it's not like what I was thinking. They're going to come to my house. Yeah, they will one day. One day their plan is to round up the people physically. But in the interim, what they've done is they've actually effectively shut me out from a lot from access to a lot of internet things. Um, just give you an example, selling things. To try to buy things or to sell things online, I can't do that anymore.
Anything?
No, well, I can buy things, but I
Yeah.
can't sell them.
Yeah. Like eBay or some bullshit like that.
Right, right. Well, I I haven't done the eBay thing in a while, but being on like OfferUp or Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or a bunch of these different sites, I was selling cats for a while, kittens, and I had this website that I was going through called GoKitty.com, and I was selling kittens. I paid for the upgraded membership, so that my kittens were the first ones that were being seen on, when somebody was searching for kittens, and I was moving them like every time I had a batch of kittens, I'd move them. Then all of a sudden, the website uh, leased the service of the big tech algorithms for their search engines, and then I got shut down from the top to like the seventh or the eighth page. And
Hmm.
there was nothing the IT department at that company could do because it was locked into their search engine, and it was the big tech search engine that was suppressing my um, listings. And so all of a sudden I was stuck with a bunch of kittens, and I'm like, well, fuck, I got to get my cats neutered or
Yeah.
spayed then, because I can't keep having kittens if I can't sell them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
eBay kicked me off because I kept like bidding on my own stuff. I didn't get the price I wanted. You know what I mean? I know we had talked about that before. It's an asshole-ish thing to do, but they caught on and it kicked me off. But have you ever ordered anything from Amazon?
yeah, I do have an Amazon account.
Now that's one thing that I have never in my lifetime have never ordered one thing from Amazon. And I tell people that they think I'm nuts. They think, how could you not ever order anything from Amazon? I have never ordered anything from Amazon ever, not even one time.
Right on.
But they kicked me out too, though. They blocked me for some reason. They kept kicking my email out for some reason.
No shit.
Yeah, and it's like, well, and then I think I use a different account, and they still kick me out. It's like, okay, I get my stuff from eBay. I don't, you know, That's all I've ever used. I've never once ordered anything from Amazon, not even one time. Which is a good thing. They don't have all my information, which is good.
Hey, you know what? Nobody's in here. I'm gonna just call you and end the stream. Is that
Okay,
cool?
bud. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I'll talk to you soon. Later.
All right. Bye.